out of the shot clock. LeBron James. Oh, my goodness. You have got to be kidding me.
You know, a lot of athletes get nicknames that they don't really deserve, but this guy here, well, they don't call him King James for nothing. At 6'8", 250 pounds, LeBron James is a big dude. Although, ironically, not such a big dude in terms of the NBA. But even on a court of giants, LeBron stands above them all. And you know what? It goes right back to the beginning. This guy grew up as a basketball prodigy. His idol was Michael Jordan. That's why he wears Jordan's number 23. Even before he got into the NBA, people compared him to Michael Jordan. LeBron was so good as a kid that back in high school in Akron, Ohio, he led his team to 3 state championships, racked up an amazing 2,657 points as a high schooler. And by the way, his high school basketball games were broadcast on national television because people wanted to see this young James. Sports Illustrated named him the chosen one when he was just a sophomore in high school, so to no one's surprise, he didn't go to college. No, he skipped it. Turned pro straight out of high school. The Cleveland Cavaliers kept LeBron in Ohio, which made them very popular. They took him as the top pick in the NBA draft, and you got to think that's a lot of pressure for a high school kid, right?
James to the rim. He makes it look so easy.
Well, wow, did LeBron ever live up to the hype? He was the youngest player ever to be named Rookie of the Year, and now he's a one-man financial empire. Last year, Forbes magazine, all you business cats know what I'm talking about, they ranked LBJ number 1 on its list of top earners under 25 years old. And with a fat paycheck from the Cavs and endorsements galore, he makes about $27 million a year. $27 million. On top of that, LeBron was part of the U.S. Redeem team. That's right, the team that wanted to win gold again at the Olympics, and they did. But it all started back on those high school courts in Ohio, and that's the subject of a new documentary. It's called More Than a Game. The film follows LeBron and his high school teammates over the course of their senior year. To this day, LeBron calls them his best friends in the world.
We had a natural feel for each other. I'm not sure what it was. I guess it was just meant to be, but we had a chemistry for each other.
Got to the point where we were winning pretty much all the time.
It was basketball, but it was more friendship than anything.
We were all kind of like strangers, and we really bonded.
You know, I wanted to finally have some brothers that I can be loyal to and be trustworthy. And I think we all kind of shared that bond.
LeBron James. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. This movie is, I mean, there's lots of documentaries, you know, following somebody's life, but I mean, this movie caught, I mean, people know you now as LeBron James, superstar, all that other stuff, but this movie caught you at that time when you were just a kid. I mean, when you watched it back at the film festival, what did you think? What did you see out there?
You know, you always say that, you know, high school is like, you know, your best times. You know, and you say, I wish I can go back to high school. Well, you know, what Chris Bellman did, the director of the movie, he allowed us to go back to those times, almost relive those moments that we watched on that big screen. It was like we was living the moment all out again.
I watched the movie and I wasn't there and I was emotional. When you lost in grade 8, I was just like, oh. Did you cry when you watched it back?
I didn't cry at that point. When I was in the 8th grade, though, and we lost that game, I definitely cried.
Yeah.
I definitely cried.
Most kids don't have a political choice to make when they go to high school, but there's a school in your neighborhood that was predominantly black students, and then there was a school predominantly white students with a coach that you want. And so you guys chose to go to this other school, and that came with its own controversy in your own neighborhood.
Absolutely, it's tough. I mean, when you grow up in the inner city and you're around all black kids your whole life, and then there's an inner city school that inherits all black kids that's pretty good in sports. I mean, this is a school, Buchtel High School, where if you're good in sports, then this is the school you're supposed to be at. So when 4 or 5 of the best guys decides not to go there now, it's like, are you giving up on the black community now? I mean, what are you doing? Because we went to an all-white school in the same area. It wasn't about that. It was about, we felt like one of our best friends wasn't going to get an opportunity to play at Buchtel. He wasn't going to get treated fairly. He wanted to go where he felt like he had a better opportunity to play the game of basketball, which he loved. So, you know, us being the friends, we said, okay, well, well, we all going with you.
So you got the starting lineup. One kid gets a better chance to play. You all then make the decision to go there.
Yep, we all go.
That's a pretty remarkable decision to make
We all go.
as a young man, isn't it?
Absolutely. Being 14 years old, that was the biggest decision we had ever made.
You know, and then I mean, out of high school, you're in the NBA, and you know, I mean, you're one of those guys who they said couldn't miss, and obviously couldn't miss, and you had to go to. But you stayed in Ohio. I mean, you were drafted in Ohio. You stayed in Ohio. Was that important to you?
I think wherever the lottery balls had fell on draft day, I was going to be excited. Just having my dream come true, I was going to be excited. Whatever team had got the #1 pick, but once Cleveland got the #1 pick, for me being 18 years old, it allowed me to be like, wow, you know, I can still play in front of, you know, the comfort of my friends and family, which watched me grow into the player I am now.
I mean, it's a lot harder than people think to just all of a sudden have to be a man. You make an enormous amount of money, living in the spotlight, and being the #1 draft pick, being LeBron, you have to.
When you go from eating all the groceries to buying all the groceries.
Yeah. to your position now, buying the grocery store.
Yeah, buying the grocery store now.
But I mean, emotionally and intellectually, were you at a point where you think you were prepared for the NBA?
I think once I decided to make the jump from high school to the NBA, I felt as a basketball player I was ready. But once you don't really understand how it changes, you also have to become a businessman. And that's something I didn't know coming straight out of high school. Being 18 years old and thinking about tax returns and thinking about, you know, I got to make a payment on something. I don't know what it is. You know, all I want to do is play basketball, but you have to become a businessman also. It's a lot of more responsibilities. And that's what I've figured out in my short career in the NBA and why I'm so successful I am today right now.
Yeah, one of the things that came up in this movie, it was about basketball in the game, and it's not that basketball is the most important thing. Basketball isn't the most important thing.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Basketball just happened to be the vehicle that we used. It just got us from point A to point B. The important thing is it created friendship, it created loyalty, it created a brotherhood that we have till this day, being almost 6 years removed from high school. Basketball just so happened to be the sport. It could have been any sport. It could have been football. It could have been tennis. It could have been a chess club. It could have been anything, any workforce or sports.
Too big for the chess club.
Yeah, I know. I try to sit at the tables. My knees are already above the table. So.
But you know, it's funny because a lot of athletes, certainly athletes, are trained to say, "I just want to play and I want to win, and this is the most important thing to me." And then when you make a decision, and we saw it in the movie, that this isn't the most important. This is what I do, but it isn't the most important thing to you. Yeah. Is that I mean, I'm sure you play with guys in your dressing room who don't share the same value as you.
Well, that's why you have guys in our league that's superstars, and you have guys that's stars, and then you have all-stars, and then you have guys that's okay players. I mean, I accept the challenge every night. Every night I go on the basketball court, in everyday life, I accept the challenge. Because I realize I'm not just representing LeBron James. I'm representing, you know, my 2 sons. I'm representing my family. I'm representing everybody in my household, and also the city of Cleveland. And now I have an even brighter mind. Now I represent the United States of America, knowing how big Team USA was. So.
The Redeem Team.
The Redeem Team, absolutely.
Did you ever think, you guys won the gold, but did you have a moment where you thought, well, we better win the gold? You know, we can't lose again.
Yeah. You know, once they start, you know, making the TV shows and, you know, they start getting our uniforms, we got new uniforms, I was like, you know, hey, you know, this is the last chance, you know, for the United States of America to regain that #1 form, and people accept it. It took us 8 years to get back to this point, but the gold is back home. The gold is back home.
Well, and it'll come here at least 1 or 2 days because Chris Bosh was on that team, Chris Bosh of the Raptors. What was it like playing with Chris? We watch him here all the time.
The one thing about Chris Bosh is, you know, if you look at him physically, he's not the strongest. He's not the fastest. He doesn't jump the highest. But mentally, he knows the game. His basketball IQ is one of the best that I've been on the team with, and that's why he excels. I mean, every night he goes out, he plays the power forward in the center, and you look at him, you know, he's like, you know, he's real skinny. And, you know, you're like, you know, he's not the fastest guy, but he always dominates the opposing player because our game is more mental than it is your abilities.
How do you apply that to the business world? Because that's one thing that's really big to you right now.
I just use my instincts. I use my instincts. One thing that I did a few years ago, decided to part ways with my agent because I believed that I couldn't grow as a man and as a businessman having an agent, say, well, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to do it. And I started my own company with three of my good friends, and it's called LRMR. We started our own marketing company. I kind of judge, by my own standards.
Did your friends that you hired have experience? I mean,
no.
Right. So
no.
Seemingly not a wise business move, but there would be a reason that you would do that.
Absolutely, because as I continue to grow, I want the guys around me to grow also. So when LeBron James is done playing basketball, now what do I have for my guys to fall back on? I don't want them to be like, okay, now what do we do? Mm-hmm. My guys are being set up in a position now where when I'm done playing basketball, they can continue to go on and be respected walking into a business room, be respected on having their own business ventures without me being there, and I can just sit back and collect the check.
You better hope that they're good at that, for sure. It comes later on in the film, but the relationship with your mother. I think everybody got to see your mother in the playoffs on TV,
yeah.
On the sports highlights when your mother. What did your mother say? What happened?
My mother being very, very protective. She doesn't understand sometimes that I'm a professional athlete and I'm, a man now. She still thinks I'm like 10, 12 years old. Yeah. So Paul Pierce, didn't foul me pretty hard. And she got up out of her seat. And before she did anything, I just told her to kindly sit down.
Yeah. If you saw the replay, he didn't say it like that.
No, my face was a little different, and maybe the words was a little different. But
what struck me about that moment, and I saw it play out in the movie as well, is that take us away the fact that you're LeBron James and you're all this stuff. It's a mother and her son, and there was still a really honest family moment that you almost never get to see now that sports has become such big business. And moreover, sports seems to have lost its spirit, a lot of it.
Right.
Its marketing and lights and all. There was a moment when I watched that and went, that's right, his mom's pissed, wicked. That's what any mom would do.
Well, absolutely. I think it's not just LeBron James. There's other mothers, fathers that could watch this movie in America or anywhere and have a successful kid. Mm-hmm. That's very good at whatever they do, and it can guide them or at least try to teach them a way to try to handle certain situations.
You didn't have as strong a start as people I think wanted from you. Did you have people around you helping, like saying, listen, here's what you're missing, or here's what you should?
Well, absolutely. One thing about myself, I'm real critical of myself. I believe I can't improve unless I want to improve. And ultimately, I want to become the greatest basketball player or the best player LeBron James can be. Now, if that means I've become better than Michael Jordan or better than Kobe Bryant or Oscar Robertson, then so be it. But if not, I want to maximize my potential. So the times of my rookie year where I was struggling, I found a way to get through it myself with the help of friends and, not having those, yes men around me because I wasn't playing well.
Better than Kobe Bryant. I think he could do that.
I'll try.
Is it generally a wise move for someone to jump from high school straight to something like the NBA?
I believe if you feel that you're ready, now certain circumstances you have to make the right decision for you and your family. Mm-hmm. Now, it's hard to tell a kid that grows up in the inner city or grows up anywhere that their parents are not financially stable and tell them that don't take, this amount of money to help your family out right now. It's hard to tell them that. Because if it's my kid or if it's any of you guys' kid, it's hard to tell them, not to take that opportunity.
Because it's a lot of money. You go from having nothing to having
absolutely.
millions, right?
And I went from having absolutely nothing to being able to support, everyone around me. So, but I feel as a basketball player, if you're ready and mentally you're ready to make that jump, then why not?
I will never dunk, ever. And you reach a point where you go, nope.
And I would never skydive.
And you will never skydive, right?
Never.
I will also never skydive.
Never.
What was your first dunk? And I don't mean like your little tyke hoop.
Right.
Your first 10-foot hoop.
I was in the 8th grade, so I was 13, headed to 14. Yeah.
Were you striving for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did it feel like when you hit the rim?
It was like I wanted to do it again, like so many times in a row. and for some odd reason, I couldn't get it just like the first time. I went up the first time, it was just, I got it. I was like, what did I just do? And then I tried to do it again. It wasn't just quite. So
Keep it up.
Yeah, I couldn't. No one believed me. No one believed me. None of my friends believed me. It's like, no, you didn't do it. So.
Good luck next season, man.
I appreciate it.
LeBron James. The movie is called More Than a Game. And by the way, LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers will be in Toronto. They will play the Raptors February the 18th. Go check it out. More to come on the program. We'll be right back.